Welcome back. So now after all this exciting work in Python, it's time to do some password cracking. Now on the slides you see different methods, including John the Ripper, which can also be used. Sometimes there are pros and cons, sometimes it takes a fair amount of time. What I introduce in this session is a different method. It's called Hashcat, which I quite like. Again, there is a lot of documentation on this. So if you go to the Hashcat Wikipedia, you find a very substantial number of examples, lots of different tips, lots of videos, articles, and so on about how this actually works. And it's labeled in this particular case as a password recovery tool. Now, of course, that's always a matter of perspective. And yes, you could use it if you forgot your password to crack your own passwords, of course. And also in our case, of course, we do this in a safe environment. But of course, obviously, you can also use it for cracking passwords of other people, and one has to be honest about this. That's part of it as well. Yeah. So there are many different interesting articles. There's in particular one here on different types of hashes and how to extract them. Definitely very interesting. A section on credit card data, so just in case you lose your own credentials, let's just put it that way. And also you find online, and I have a link for this one on the slides, about a so-called hash analyzer, because there are so many different types, and so it's quite useful to actually explore what kind of hash you have. Yeah, so when we go back into our stolen data, and we already have it now in the input hashcat, so in the right format. So if we look at this, if we just do a little cat, and we do the input hashcat, we could just take one of these and do a little copy here. Yeah, so we copy this particular selection here, and then we just paste that in and we analyze it. Yeah, in the hash analyzer, it gives you an idea about what kind of hash it is. Yeah, so in this case, it would give me a hash type of MD5 MD4. It provides further details, but that's actually enough. So there are now ways to specify this for Hashcat and for other tools as well. Good. So the next thing we do is we just try to run it and see what happens in this particular case. Let's do that. And we run now our Hashcat. Now you will see lots and lots of different options. I just show you this and I'll talk you through. So the first part here, the option M and then followed by 0, this would specify the type you would expect. So that's in our case this MD5 hash type. Then we have an A and a 0. This basically means that you pass in a list of common passwords, and we already have downloaded this, and we put this in the passwords directory. So I give a path to the rocku file, and we know it contains about, I think, 14 million or so common passwords. So basically we check against this long list of passwords, and then I have the input hashcat, so that's the actual target file, and I try to crack it. Yeah. Obviously I already have done this, so it's already stored in my findings, which means in my case the output file wouldn't show because I already have done it before. It's saved in a so-called pod, so it wouldn't show. In your case it should actually work. Yes, if you run this, it's of course now very quick because it realizes we already have it. Yeah, so you see all hashes are found in the pod file. So this is a separate file which is part of Hashcat. So they should be already available. Yeah, and you see you just have to use the show option to display that. So if you do Hashcat and you do show and then you specify what you want to crack, it should give you a list, and here is the list. So you see that this hash here and that hash there is simply password. So that's really a stupid one. This one here is the password ABC123, which again is a really stupid password. And that one here is Charlie, and the last one is let me in. Yeah. So yeah, not very sophisticated, but you see if you use any of the most common passwords, it's almost certain that you can be cracked. You know, there is absolutely no doubt that you can be cracked. And we talked very beginning of this course about how to find passwords that were stolen. And again, it's very important to check whether the password you use already has been stolen. Once it's of course stolen, it's out there, and it's very likely to be added to various files for passwords which people use as a starting point for password cracking. So now what we have done, as you can see, is we entered the MySQL database, we downloaded, we stole some user data. Now we have the usernames, we have the avatars, and we have passwords. So of course now we can use that obviously for further attacks. Yeah, so we can try to use these credentials, for instance, for further login attempts. We can try to get access to some private information. We can also use it for blackmail. And again, this is of course very common. And the main issue, and we come to this in the last part of this course, is that people very often use the same passwords across accounts. Yeah, so if you drop them a friendly email, of course from a safe email account which cannot be traced, that oh dear, whatever name it is, yeah, here is your password. I cracked your password and I know what you're up to. And as you send a nice link to your cryptocurrency account for a compensation payment. The trouble is many people use the same passwords across all sorts of accounts, so they don't know which one was cracked. So that makes it of course quite tricky how to respond to that. But we come to defensive methods in the last part where we talk about these issues. So that's all for this session. We did some password cracking actually quite successfully. I'm delighted. If you do it for the first time, it will take quite a bit of time, so have it in mind. It can take easily 15-20 minutes or longer, depending on how difficult they are. Good, I see you in the